The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Hi, this is Ron Kincher with Muddy River News. Welcome to the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank. We are joined by a lawyer today, Courtney Hilt with Dempsey and Hilts. Hilts, and since Hilts is a part of Dempsey and Hilts, that means you're an important part of Dempsey and Hilts, right? But you're the last name of the Dempsey. Is it alphabetically?
The order we were added. Vicky Dempsey is the first Dempsey,
right,
and then Terrell, and then me.
Okay. So you're a partner, obviously, there.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, with the responsibilities of a partner versus a non-partner, is it just an ownership situation?
Yeah, and when I became partner, I also took over a lot of the managerial aspects of it, as far as management of paralegals, bookkeeping, and all that fun stuff.
So why did a little Courtney running around her house want to be a lawyer?
When I was, in third grade, you want to hear the full story?
That's why we're here.
In third grade, I decided I just wanted to help people. I saw a need, and there were injustices. Big thing was
third
kids.
grade.
Yeah. I told my mom, like, say in first grade, I didn't want to watch the news anymore because it would just upset me. It was the world news about starvation of kids, and I didn't understand why there weren't parents, taking care of the kids. And my mom said, that's for the adults to worry about. That's when you become an adult, then you can do things to change that. So I thought for a long time I wanted to do family law. I wanted to do adoption and do all those happy, fun things. And I realized I don't want to do family law at all. But I found my niche with Social Security disability and bankruptcy and workers' comp. So really being able to help people and see the injustices of what the government is trying to do with disability specifically, and helping them, fight that to get benefits that they're entitled to.
The one thing I've found really interesting about your background is you were a part of the ACLU Capital Punishment Project for a little bit.
Yeah, I did that in law school.
Yeah, so what was that experience like?
We were working on a Innocence Project case.
Right.
So the person was wrongfully convicted. It was out in North Carolina, where I went to law school at. So I was listening to some jailhouse phone calls, interviews, and then actually went and attended a trial as well. And so I got to watch that out
So
there.
how'd it come out? Was he wrongfully accused?
Nope, they ended up, I think it was an appeal, and honestly, my internship had ended because it's a very, very long process. So something that I hadn't really followed up on. My life took a different trajectory, and so something I hadn't really followed up on that case to see what happened.
So you primarily handle Social Security law and disability, right? So first of all, let's just talk about what is Social Security just in general. I mean, I think we all are pumping money into our Social Security,
right.
But
and people don't even realize. I think it's something my husband and I talked about. He's like, I didn't know what FICA is. I said, your FICA taxes. You didn't learn about that in high school? He's like, well, I may have. But, as we work, we pay into Social Security through FICA taxes, Medicare, as well as Social Security disability. And then if you become unable to work, you can apply to see if you can be approved for disability. And then also, if you haven't worked, there are other programs in place that help people who haven't worked as well. So if they haven't worked, paying into the system, then asset-based, they can still qualify for benefits if they're found disabled.
So is it correct for me to say the Social Security is this monolith of code and laws and stuff that need to be sorted out, and there's so many different avenues that people could take a part of that it could be overwhelming for an individual?
Exactly.
And, okay.
Yeah.
So how many tentacles are there? I mean, you mentioned just like 4 there, the disability and some of the other stuff.
Too many to explain,
I was just
I
gonna
would
say,
say.
how do you know
Yeah.
when I would need someone like, you specialize in, how would I know I need somebody like you? I mean, should I just assume everything's going okay with my Social Security situation?
If you're applying for disability, you need an attorney. It's
So-
kind of our bottom line.
Okay, so let's do that. So define applying for disability then.
So if you're become hurt or if you're unable to work because of physical or mental impairments, and there's different tests based on your age, education, work history, so without getting too deep into the weeds, that's how we evaluate cases. But if you're unable to do work in the national economy, then come to to an attorney, come to us before you do your application. It used to be different. Mr. Dempsey has been doing disability for 30 years now, and way back when he would say, well, go get denied and then come see us. It's changed. The system has changed the last 10 years. We've seen a big shift, especially in mental health cases, just denials, just disapproving people, not giving them their benefits. So it's something that you fill out a bunch of paperwork in the very beginning, and they're looking to use all of that to try to deny your case.
So I guess it sounds like it's getting harder
Absolutely.
to get your money from. So is this, okay, so I've paid into disability X amount of years, and then let's say I have a disability situation. Is the money I pull only from what I have put in that meantime, or is it part of the larger pool than that?
It's part of the larger pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it your job to try to get as much of that pool as possible, or is there like percentages and stuff like that?
I say there's formulas, and I do not try to purport myself to be a formula expert. I definitely understand the laws, and the other thing with the laws is the way they're written, they apply them differently too. But as far as the amount you get is based on how much you've paid in, or if you haven't worked 5 of the last 10 years, then it's asset based, and they look at household income and the size of your household. So if I can't look at somebody's earnings and tell them, yeah, you're going to be getting $1,000 a month. It's just, I always tell them, my job is to get you declared disabled. The money side of it's for Social Security.
Okay, and then how much you make at that time does have an effect on how much you would get out of Social Security.
Exactly, it's proportional.
Okay, so and this is somewhat of a controversy too. Correct me if I'm wrong. That the world or the United States is everybody's trying to grab their disability and living off the teat of America, so to speak. Is this a part of that complaint? Is the Social Security disability type situation that we're having generation of people that are on disability?
It is, but the reality of it is not what we see.
Okay.
That there is
this. Help explain
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And that's what I think the mass majority of people think. They're just people out there in the world living off the government, and they shouldn't be on benefits at all. What we're seeing is people. We have people who should be on benefits who are just getting denied. I have a case right now where my client died before she was approved, and that is a common because the time it takes. I have cancer patients or clients who have diagnosed stage 4 cancer, and they don't make it to see their first check.
Okay.
Because the system is so slowed down, and not in those cases they typically get approved, and there are exceptions to every rule and every situation that I see, but any more people are being denied, and rightful cases where they should be getting approved are being denied.
So there's it sounds like there might be two avenues then, because then there's the Social Security disability part, and then there's just the people who are getting aid.
Right. So if it's the state aid, like Medicaid, food stamps, that's completely a different test.
Okay.
And I always tell my clients, I am not an expert in the state side. I always say go to your social workers, your community support specialists, those people whose jobs to know what resources are available. But as far as Social Security disability, and a lot of those things tie back to disability. You have to be applying for disability or showing you can't work in order to qualify, especially in Missouri was really tough back until the recent years where they expanded Medicaid.
So the laws are different by state then?
For the Medicaid and food stamps, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, disability is federal, but those other state aids are within the borders of the state.
So does it get more complicated then if I have a spouse and she's on disability, then I apply for disability? Or the income between the spouses, does that apply into how the formula is created?
It depends.
Okay.
If you, and that's going to be a common answer because everything in the law, it depends.
Okay.
There are more exceptions than rules. And if you have worked, you have paid into the system, then you're going to be entitled to a portion of what you paid in. If you have never worked and never paid into the system, then the government has supplemental security income, which is a different form of disability that we don't believe in people being just destitute and living homeless is what the feds say. And that was the reason that law was originally, that program was put in place. And that is asset-based. So that is looked at if your wife is working, you're trying to apply for SSI, then they're going to take into her income. And if you have one kiddo or no children, it's a very low side. And on that SSI, it just went up, and I don't have the number memorized, but last year it was around $914 is what you're entitled to a month on disability for SSI.
So I had an early exposure to Social Security. My dad passed away when I was 5 or 6, so I didn't know this at the time, but my mother received
survivor's benefits.
So is that considered disability, or is that something different?
Was he retired when he passed?
No, he was 45 or something like that.
Okay. It depends, again, on, I would have to know more specifics.
I want more specific answers.
I know. And so I would just need a little bit more specifics about if he, and two, it could be some form of widow's benefits or depending on what his work was.
Right.
It just, it could be something that, if he was entitled to retirement, I know you said he was younger, so I'd have to know some more specifics of what that would be. But if it's linked to retirement, as far as familial benefits, there are benefits for children too. If you've worked and you've paid in or getting disability, then your kids and children get a benefit as well.
That's all coming out of the same pool of money, though, right?
Right.
Okay, so, and then there's, again, the political atmosphere. People are talking about, well, we're going to run out of money in Social Security, blah, 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 blah. I mean, is that just talk, or is that really, you may not know.
It's something that we hear every year. We go to a national conference, NOSCR, National Organization of Social Security Claimant Representatives, and it's something we talk about every year. They always say, this trust fund's going dry, and every year that date of when it's going to go dry extends, another 5 years. So I think it's something that we just will know when we get there. There's definitely a fear in Washington, and I think that fear of people saying, yeah, it's going to dry up. We need to, not see, not proving people, and I feel like that may be a part of the reason we had a shift, and not to get political, but the president appoints the commissioner of Social Security, and the judges that we see have gotten very adversarial over the last 8-10 years or so, just looking for reasons to deny.
Are there specific judges that only deal with Social Security claims?
Yes.
So that's when you go to court. Are you going to a federal court then?
There are Social Security hearing locations set up.
Okay.
So when we were in person, we would go over to Hannibal, the Social Security office there. They have a site right there, and the judges would come up either from Creve Coeur, Columbia, St. Louis. They'd stay out there at that little Holiday Inn over by the hospital and stay for a week, and they'd hear cases in person. And then COVID happened. They stopped doing all those in-person hearings. We went to doing them by the phone. So our clients come to our office in Quincy, and we can just talk to the judges over the phone that way. And
so are you doing it that way still?
Yep, that's
well, that's probably better, isn't it? Okay.
And my clients enjoy it more. It's better for them. They're more at ease. They're more comfortable being in an environment they've been in before. Definitely something I'm comfortable with.
How would I know if I qualify for disability? I mean, it seems like, just in our conversation we've had, there's a lot of different things that could qualify someone for a disability benefit. And
set up a free consultation.
Is that simple?
Yep.
And there's other lawyers like you that do this. I guess I'm not trying to.
No, you're fine.
Firm. There's a lot of people that can help them in this type of situation, right?
Yes, but I'll caveat that. 20 years ago, you flipped over the phone book back when you used Yellow Pages, and every attorney did disability. It was just something that every attorney did. Everyone listed it, and then it's become such a nuanced. As I said, there's more exceptions than laws. You can read the black letter law, but you have to know how the judges are going to apply it. So that is something that we've really nuanced that down, and we recently were ranked 134 in the nation as social security disability firms. Yeah, our small 3-attorney firm.
Is this something you just fell into, though? They want to hire me at Dempsey, and then you fell into it? Or is this something you want to do prior to getting the position with Dempsey and Dempsey?
I always knew I wanted to work with people. I did some corporate law up in Chicago before I was here, and I always knew this is not what I want. I'm not a corporate attorney. I'm not an insurance attorney. I want to work with people. I want to help, people, individuals. And then I found out Vicki and Terrell were hiring, and so I applied, and then I've fallen in love with it. It's definitely.
It's got to be frustrating, though.
It is. The compassion fatigue is very real.
The what?
The compassion fatigue.
Yeah, I've never heard that term, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just the give, and when the cases are good, they're good. It's great. When I can get clients, who go to a hearing because they're in a wheelchair and they shouldn't be going to a hearing, but they are, and I get them benefits, it's great, but it's tough for sure. But I love it. It's very rewarding most days. And I even tell my husband, if we won the lottery, I'd still do this. There's such a need. As I said, no attorneys really in this area, other than if you go to Springfield or St. Louis, Chicago. I think there may be some over in Springfield, Illinois, but none really in this, area where we do Social Security cases like we do from the beginning to end.
Offices in Quincy and in Hannibal. And so you had to be licensed in both states, right? Or is it different for Social Security
different
law?
For federal law.
Jeez,
yes.
Okay.
So I am licensed in both states, though, both Illinois and Missouri. But both Social Security and bankruptcy are federal. So I just have to be sworn in to practice in the federal jurisdictions where we have cases.
Thank you for coming in and clearing it up as much as you possibly can.
Muddying it more.
Oh, I get it. It's Muddy River News.
That's right.
No, but thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, Courtney Hilts with Dempsey and Hilts.
Sure.
This has been the Business Spotlight. I'm Ron Kincher. This has been brought to you by Mercantile Bank.
Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.